with Bill Belichick and North Carolina, though, D, as they're working on the nation's top quarterback for the 2026 class, Jared Curtis. We've talked about Jared Curtis a few times here recently, and it's interesting because North Carolina was not a program that was necessarily on his radar when we first had an update on him. He had dropped his top 6 schools, and Bill Belichick visits him yesterday. He has now set up a follow-up trip to Chapel Hill to check it out for the first time, and it looks like the Tar Heels are squarely in this race.
This is, to me, from what I've seen from highlights, watch a couple full games on this class, but pretty much watch every blue chip quarterback in this class of 26. This, to me, is the guy as far as the ability, the upside, the premier player that I've seen in the class of 26, 6'4", 225 from Nashville, Tennessee, ranked number 2 quarterback in the nation. But again, make a very good case for number 1, former Georgia commit, former running back. So this guy can run. And when you watch his highlights, it's very, very easy to see somebody that Bill Belichick may remember from the AFC East, and that is Josh Allen. Here we're watching his sophomore stuff. He's improved significantly since then, but the size, the physicality, the ability to run, and look at the cannon. I mean, effortlessly just pushing the ball down the field. North Carolina has been very, very lucky with quarterbacks. Not lucky. I mean, they've recruited them and developed them, but they've been very blessed with quarterbacks. When you talk about Sam Howell, starting as a true freshman and being pretty productive his entire career, moving on to the NFL. Then Drake May, one of the better quarterback talents that I've ever seen in the ACC, someone I think is going to be a really good pro. There's a tradition to sell. Of course, Belichick has his own tradition to sell with the greatest of all time. When you watch this guy, this is a program changer, probably comparable to May of those two, just because of the size and athleticism. But really, to me, I see Josh Allen. Look at that throw. Oh, moly.
And if you're Curtis, right, all these schools coming at you, you can go wherever you want in the country. I would think the pitch starts to sound similar across the board at a lot of these programs when you're his caliber of recruit as a quarterback. Bill Belichick coming in there probably sounds a little bit different than what these other coaches are saying. And obviously the track record that he has is going to go certain ways for a quarterback of his stature. So if you're putting yourself in Curtis's shoes, North Carolina doesn't seem to, I mean, Bryce Baker, of course, in the class now, but we still have to see him, step on the field and see what he does. You might be looking at this as a pretty enticing situation.
Yeah, look, there's really no hometown advantage. He was committed to Georgia. Georgia's still in the mix. Oregon's gotten a lot of buzz as a potential favorite. He's previously identified Alabama with Kalen DeBoer, South Carolina, Coach Shula there, Coach Beamer. They have Lenore Sellers, who's developing into an NFL prospect, Auburn, Ohio State. But to me, just from a distance standpoint, it's not like any of those schools are hometown schools. Really, from Nashville to Chapel Hill is a straight shot east, about 7 hours. So it's not particularly far, if that matters to him at all. And then, of course, the ability to be the face of the franchise, what this program is built on. Bill Belichick's added a lot of offensive linemen in the transfer portal. You're talking about big dudes, some that will be graduated before Curtis would get there, some that have multiple years of eligibility. But clearly there's a focus on building an offensive line. You signed Brandon Baker last year, a 4-star quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the country. He's going to get every chance to be the quarterback of the future. I think we probably should mention that. You also have Zaid Lott.
Bryce Baker.
Bryce
yeah.
Baker. I'm sorry.
I said Bryce. I had mentioned him before.
Yeah, I apologize. And then Zaid Lott from Providence Day School was already committed there from Charlotte. Both of those guys, North Carolina guys. With Baker, basketball player, very smart guy, productive. He's going to be here with a chance to compete early. So maybe he's cemented the quarterback of the future by the time Curtis even graduates. But that's something to keep an eye on. How hard do they go after Curtis? Because this is the type of player that you don't just recruit, you kind of build around and try to make it the face of your franchise.
So quarterback is going to be a big focus here in Chapel Hill, seeing who, if Bryce Baker ends up kind of taking control of that situation as the season goes on. Of course, they bring in the Purdue transfer as well, as more of a veteran presence. Maybe he's the guy who goes out there and gets it done. But still,